welcome to Cataclysm Magazine. We can be found on the web at www.cataclysm.com. My name is Jason J. Rock Houston, and our special guest today is lead singer, guitarist Michael Jahnz. Am I pronouncing your name right, Michael?
Yes, it is. Michael Jahnz.
Okay, and we're going to be talking about your new CD that's coming out. It's called LA Is Mine, and it comes out next week on August 6th. And it's called, the band is called the Richrath Project 313. Could you explain the name, the number 313?
Well, it's Richrath Project 313, and it's basically the 313 comes into play with Gary Richrath from Reo Speedwagon.
Okay.
I was his lead singer for many years, and it just came as more of a play thing that we had, because usually we stayed up way too late at night, and 313 was popped on the digital clock. So
wow.
It was late in the studio, as you can think, you know.
And so, like, obviously, you said you worked with Gary for many years. How did you and him first hook up?
We met in Thousand Oaks, California. I moved out to California in 1985, and he was already previously living there, and we ran into each other through a mutual friend, and just kind of hung out for a while, started doing some shows with me and my band that we had out there, and the next thing you know, I was doing demos with him on his project that he was working on, and started doing some lead vocals. And once he left REO, he asked me to be his lead singer.
And now, of course, like you said, Gary is well known for Reo Speedwagon. Now, when you guys first got together, did he have a feeling like, I want to do something very different from Reo Speedwagon because I've already done that?
No, he didn't. He said if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, I like that.
And actually, he was doing demos with the band, Reo Speedwagon, minus Kevin Cronin, and they had Graham Lear playing drums. And those were the first demos I actually played on.
Oh, wow.
So he was working with a songwriter and singer from Nashville. And they were doing demos with the REO band. And eventually what happened was Gary asked me to sing because he felt I had a stronger voice. And it reminded him of a younger Kevin Cronin. And so he did. I ended up doing background vocals, and I ended up doing some lead vocals, and then I ended up doing all the vocals. And one thing led to another, and he left the band, and I went with Gary.
Well, that's amazing. Now, I'm assuming, like a lot of us, you were a REO Speedwagon fan.
I'm sorry, what?
Were you a REO Speedwagon fan yourself?
Oh, well, how could you not?
Yeah.
No, that's a good question. Actually, my favorite album for many years was You Get What You Play For. And that was the Live album. And I thought in the life of me that I would be, playing with Gary.
Yeah.
But it just kind of, the one thing led to another, and then next thing you know, I was doing some of the songs, and it was quite amazing.
Yeah, I mean, talk about that experience going from being, a fan of this guy to actually, working with him.
Yeah, it was bizarre. It was very bizarre. It was sometimes you had to pinch yourself, because when I first started doing demos with him, I did some rough demos up at his home studio, and I walked in there and all I saw was gold and platinum records, and talk about an intimidating kind of thing, I was a kid from Wisconsin, and I moved out to LA, and here I'm in this guy's studio, doing demos. It was incredible. So I was kind of hoping and making sure that was going to be the thing I wanted to do, and do a good job at for him,
Yeah, I mean, obviously you have other influences, but I mean that's got to be like the ultimate dream from going from being a fan, to being the guy up on stage with him playing these songs,
Yes. Yeah. It was kind of like I had multiple influences.
Yeah.
But I had originally played bass and I sang. And I always got stuck in the lead singer position, even though I didn't want to be a lead singer, but I always somehow had the best voice.
Interesting.
Obviously, Gary picked up on that. But when I started playing with Gary, I played bass, and he told me he wants me to play guitar. So he actually was the one who taught me how to play guitar. And he forced me into it that you got to play guitar. It's just you have to play guitar. So I started playing, with his help, and one thing led to another. Like I said, I picked up a lot of the things that he had, that he had in his head. You know, like if you hear the single that just came out, "Help Me Save Me from Myself," we just released the single on last Friday.
Yeah.
It's definitely Gary's song. You know what I'm saying? It's got his input on there, his songwriting, and then I have more of a vocal thing, so I do a lot of different vocal things that he's helped me with and brought out of me, and it's a wall of sound. It sounds great.
Because I will tell you, that's an interesting story that you just told about, because I've heard that from many people before where, the person I'm talking about telling me, I didn't start out wanting to be a singer. Just everybody told me I had the best voice or whatever.
Sure.
And you have other people telling you that. Now, did it take you a while to, being that you started out, on other instruments, did it take you a while to get used to hearing your own voice? Getting used to that?
Well, to be honest with you, I hate to hear myself talk, but I enjoy hearing myself sing when I'm on.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying, because even doing these interviews as I've been doing it, I remember I first hated it at first, but after time you get used to it, But I got to tell you, your publicist sent me a little PR piece on your band last week, and that's why I set up an interview today. But what made me want to talk to you is I checked out the video for the first single you're telling me about, Save Me From Myself, and despite the interesting kind of topic that the song's about, I mean, just listening to it, it's a great little pop tune. It really kind of sounds upbeat, and I was digging it right away.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, like I said, it's one of those. It's a song that Gary came up with years ago, and we actually first recorded it in one of my home studios, and we worked on it for a while, and then it just kind of got pushed on the back burner, and then that's a few years back when Gary was out here and about here, and then I decided to move on to different things, and then the record company came back and said, why don't you see what else you got, and let's see about putting out another Richrath after he passed away, because it just seems like he never got the credit that he needed, that was due to.
Now, when he passed away, did he get ill all of a sudden, or did it come on all of a sudden,
I know that he had some serious stomach problems, and, I think it all led from, just not taking care of himself correctly through the years. You know what I mean? It's like, he had some issues, and I think the song kind of says that. If you listen to the lyrics real good, and I don't want to be the one that, says that because it was his song, but, I kind of believe that that's what it was all about. I mean, it's helped me save me from myself.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of people that have that problem, and they don't get the help they deserve, and he definitely didn't get the credit he deserved, so I'm trying to do my part to fill both those voids. So
now let me ask you, Michael, you say like he wrote the song, but were you at all involved with the writing, or is this something he wrote on his own?
Well, he wrote it and brought it to me, and I kind of enhanced it. Like my vocals, like obviously he wasn't really singing too much. Yeah. And brought the song to me, and I started doing vocals with it. He worked with me on the melodies, and then I put a ton of vocals in there. Like if you hear the beginning part and the harmonies, I mean there's quite a few of me going on in there. So I kind of changed things around a little bit and made it more poppy commercial, I would say, if that's the correct word for it.
Well, yeah, even I would say radio friendly, but what's interesting is to hear that he wrote the song, because I mean I think you were the voice. Maybe that's what he saw in you for his songs. I mean, in the sense that he's no longer hearing that, but you're delivering what his creation, his poetry, so to speak.
Well, definitely, yeah.
Very much like anybody that's a Who fan knows what I'm talking about. Anybody that thinks, Pete Townsend, he's the one that wrote all those great Who songs, but Roger Daltrey, he's the voice of the Who. He delivered all those great songs the way he does,
Right. And like I said, again, that was one of the things, I don't know if you're a big fan of REO, but like on the earlier albums, Gary sang some stuff. Like he sang Summer Love, and we do Summer Love in our set, and it was one of those things that, I really liked. He had a certain personality to his voice that it was just, he had a personality, and it was like with his guitar playing, there's nobody that plays like him, and so I tried to capture a lot of that personality in some of the songs, some of the vocals I have, the way he did it and the way he wanted to do it but couldn't do it. So I mean, it's a team kind of, and it's he amazing ideas, but you have to have somebody portray them for you.
Oh yeah.
And
And you do.
He's no longer here.
Yeah.
Now, those guitars are all his guitars. I mean, that's actually him playing on that song.
Oh wow. So
I mean, I had my engineer take his guitars off the original tracks, and then my new band played along with that.
So, like, when you went in to do this album, I was curious, like, since he's no longer, like you said, these are all his guitar tracks, so were they basically instrumental tracks that you came up with a vocal, or what was the approach? I mean, were there rough demos that he done himself vocally, or what did you have to work with?
Well, we actually recorded this song on a demo in my studio originally. So we recorded the whole song, and then, we took the demo, and obviously a demo is a demo, so you have to redo the demo.
Of course, yeah.
And didn't want to lose his guitar, so the only thing I cared about was his guitar playing at that point and the song. So we kind of took the guitar and they put it through a series of processing where he could bring the guitar out, and then my band came in and we played along with Gary's original guitar track.
Yeah, that's an interesting process. But did you at all feel like kind of the ghost was in the room?
Well, it was. I'm telling you, it was like he was right there.
Wow.
I mean, it was like he was right there and playing along with us. It was so amazing, and we did that on. There's two other songs that we did it with. Is "L.A. Is Mine," the title track, and then "These Nights."
Oh wow.
And those are all demos that I did with him. And we recorded with those sometimes years ago, and we, again, it was all came out right out of his guitar, so it was cool. And
I was reading in the press release that the publicist sent me that originally you guys had done another album that was originally re-released in 2019, and I was curious if people want to go back and check that out, can they still get it?
Oh yeah, that album was the Crescendo Records that put us out originally in '92. That was the Only the Strong Survive.
Oh wow.
And then what happened was when we did that album, we did Only the Strong Survive, which was off of 9 Lives.
Okay.
That was when Gary was, with us, and we also did In Your Letter, which was off of High Fidelity.
Oh.
And we recorded those as a whole band, and then years later, that's what kind of got me the idea. Well, if we did that, why not try to do something with Gary's guitar on there? And that's what we did. And like I said, it kind of brings Gary back to life, and it kind of gives him a little bit of what he was all about. And I'm getting an incredible response from it, so I think that's wonderful.
And now I was going to ask you, for people that want to buy the album coming out next week, where's the best place to do that? Because, I was looking on Amazon today just to see if we could pre-order it, and nothing came up.
Really? It's everywhere pretty much. I don't know. On the 6th, it'll probably be, it's on Amazon. You can get it through, like, Best Buy, Walmart. I mean, you can get it through anywhere.
Okay.
Dark Star Records is the new record company that, that put the album out. So it's basically distributed through Orchard and Sony. So it'll be anywhere, any vendor thing you look for, it'll be there.
And so let me... go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's streaming everywhere. So, like I said again, it's the first song came out on Friday, and then the whole album will be released on the 6th.
And so, will people be able to get physical copies if they like that?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yes. That's great. Now, let me ask you. Now, this is kind of. I mean, you were with Gary before for many years, and you're kind of carrying on that legacy. Do you see yourself like with this band continuing on? Like maybe doing another album down the line?
Oh, I'm gonna do this till I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, because I think it's great that you kind of obviously in Gary, as a tribute to Gary, named the band Richrath Project 313. So people kind of know where it stems from.
Mm-hmm. Well, it has to have like everything has to have. It comes from somewhere. Like some of the stories that Gary told me about the songs he wrote came from ideas that he listened to when he was a kid. So I mean, it's like It just keeps on carrying on. You're influenced by everybody. Everybody's got an influence, and I happen to have a great songwriter that influenced me, and I feel like he had some stuff left in him that he never got a chance to have the people listen to, and then I have more stuff that I'm going to put out. So there's quite a new songs on this album that I wrote, and the next one that's going to be released as a single is called "Heard It on the Radio," and it's got an incredible. Talk about radio-friendly hooks. I mean, it's called "Heard It on the Radio," so... Yeah,
I love that radio-friendly stuff. I mean, like I said, just hearing the first single makes me want to go out and get the album,
Right.
and that's to me a sign of a great song, a great music. There was a time when you could buy an album and every track on it was awesome, and you seem like just basing it on the one song that I've heard so far. I was thinking, man, this guy's a great singer and songwriter, and I can't wait to hear what he does next.
Well, thank you. Like I said, I with Gary, Gary, I think toward the end of his REO thing, he felt like there was too much of the pop stuff going on and too much ballads going on, and he kind of lost his guitar power that was there.
Yeah.
And what I tried to do with this stuff is I tried to have, because I love to rock, and I love the guitar stuff, but I also, I tend to have more of a ballady kind of voice, and that's because I played with Gary, and believe it or not, he knew how to get that out of people. I mean, Kevin did really good for many years singing the REO hits, and I think a lot of it had to do with Gary too. They kind of accented each other.
There's that chemistry together,
Yeah, they had an incredible chemistry, and like I said, we go out and when I first started playing with Gary, it was just Gary Richrath and the originals. Mm-hmm. We all played originals and Gary Richrath music. Whatever it was from Like You Do to to Turkey Trot to Riding the Storm Out to all those, and then once in a while we'd throw in a little song here or there that Kevin maybe had something to do with. But in my set, I do all of it. I mean, I do all the Gary classics, and then I do some of the Kevin stuff too. So
that's cool.
I'm just trying to do something. I enjoy seeing Kevin Cronin's songs. I love it.
And to me, that's the ultimate, for an REO Speedwagon fan, that's ultimate tribute to the band. I mean,
I'll play Golden Country or Like You Do, and then I'll do Can't Fight This Feeling and Keep on Loving You, and the people they go nuts over this. They love it.
Oh yeah. I mean, don't deny the fans what they want, but I tell you, again, you can never go wrong with an upbeat song. I mean, like I listened to the single again. It's called "Save Me From Myself," and I was reading what the track's about, and we'll get into that next. But I'm like, man, what an upbeat track. I love grunge music and stuff like that as much as the next guy, but I can only listen to so many songs about how depressed a guy is. I would much rather hear something like this. It just rocks. To me, it's a great little pop tune, but you know what? It rocks my world as well.
Well, if you saw the video, it starts out kind of on a dark side, but it ends positive.
Yeah.
It's the end uplifting with getting help from the people that love you and kind of giving you into a new light, and that's what this is all about. And that's how I am. My lifestyle is that way. But I mean, again, it's I wouldn't be doing this if I wasn't positive. I mean, because it's hard to try to do this with Gary and trying to make it better, and that's why there's nobody really even talking about him, and I think that's sad. So. And I saw goodness in him, so that's why I'm doing it. But yeah, I mean, the song is amazing. It's got all the guitar stuff in it, but yet it's got a lot of pop stuff in there too. Yeah. And I think the album's designed that way,
Yeah, I think people are going to really dig it when they hear it,
Right. I think that "Help Me Save Me From Myself" is the start of it, and then that kind of brings everything together. And then you're going to hear some really good songs. Like I said, heard it on the radio is one of my favorite songs to play now, and when we get "LA Is Mine" out there, it's definitely a cool song. And
let me ask you, the guy that hooked you and Gary up, you said it was a mutual friend. Was it somebody in the music industry, or did he have nothing to do with the music industry?
Nothing to do with the music industry.
What a beautiful connection, I mean, and it's beautiful because I can tell, Michael, in talking to you, not only did you think a lot about Gary, but you realized that, hey, this guy gave me, my first real break, and I'm I'm really appreciative, and even just talking about it, I can hear that in you,
Yeah, well, I appreciate that because I do. I mean, I'm very fortunate. I'm very blessed. I feel happy. This is like a dream come true that I get a chance to do this situation all over again, and like I said again, with all the negative stuff going on in the world right now, I'm like sitting so happy right now.
Yeah, and this guy that introduced you two together, he must have known that maybe you two would connect because it's interesting sometimes. Somebody can bring two people together and they have that magic whatever it is, magic something, and I think for Gary, what a lucky guy, he's no longer here, but to still have a friend like you here that, like you said, a lot of people aren't talking about him, but you're going to continue to talk about. I think, man, that is loyalty and that is friendship.
Right. Well, like I said, again, he was a very, very magical kind of guy.
Yeah.
And that's all I can say about it. I mean, everybody has their ups and downs, but I think the biggest thing that was missing is that he didn't get a fair shot at a lot of the stuff, and being his friend, I'm going to try to do what I can.
And these songs, he left behind. I mean, just think how many people he made happy with those songs, over the years and through these, fans' lives that they've heard these songs so many times.
Right.
And
I know. Yeah. I know. That's a great thing. It's amazing. And again, I get stuff sent to me from all over the world, for the people that are fans of Gary Richrath, and fans of mine now too. So that helps that. I mean, again, it's like, people realize that, there's some goodness in this whole thing. The songwriting, it's amazing how much songs bring people together is what I think is cool.
Oh yeah, I mean, music to me is the one thing that really has always unified people. It can bring people together like, like you said, you just would not believe it. And I got to say, Michael, I'm really glad that Chip sent me, the press release on you because, and the band, because I'm like, man, this is such great stuff. How have I not heard of this guy, Michael Jahnz, before? But again, now that I'm talking to you, and I've heard this stuff, I'm like, I want to get the album when it comes out next week. I want to go check out what he's done before. And so that's what I plan to do. But I will say this, too. I love the fact that you're so positive, because in the world today with COVID and all that, I mean, you have people telling you on TV, I don't know if we'll ever go back to hugging and shaking hands again. I mean, what a message to send people. And you were saying something about this song. It's about people that have trouble with addictions and different, depression and different things like that they're working through, and sometimes just simple hug or something, or knowing somebody who's there for you can make all the difference in the world,
Yeah, just the common man who can reach out to somebody. That's one of the things I think was so prevalent in Gary's life, because most people thought he was bigger than life, because that's how he portrayed himself sometimes, but he was the nicest guy ever. He was so approachable, and it was like when he made it a point, every show that we toured with, and we did a lot of shows, and I carry this on my shows too, and we really have some big attending shows. He would make a point after we got done playing to go out to the audience and sit at a table and sign anybody's autographs and shake as many hands as we could, just because that was the way he was. And I try to do that too. Now, there's not as many people as we had before, but we're working on it. That's the thing, and we're trying. So, and that's one of the most important things I think he portrayed to everybody, is that, if you listen to Son of a Poor Man, that's Gary too, and that's a song that he wrote years ago that we redid,
Yeah. And so how did COVID affect all this? I mean, as far as, where you guys are from, like, I imagine for last year you haven't done too much touring or playing live.
No, yeah. Well, what happened was with us, it was almost impossible. I mean, like I said, there was one time when I thought it just wasn't going to go on anymore, because in 2019 we were touring, and the record company that I had at the time was the one who originally released the '92 album. They wanted me to come back out to record the new album.
Oh, wow!
So we went out to Los Angeles and we did dates, and then we recorded. We did most of all the roughs for the whole song, for the whole album, and then we had extra ones. We could even start working on another album. And COVID hit, and actually it was going on.
Yeah.
And we flew back to Wisconsin just for whatever reason. I mean, we had to take a break for a while, so we came back to Wisconsin like in February.
Wow.
And we had dates in February, and all of a sudden March, everything got canceled. And then the record company went through April and then May, and then he said he's just going to back out for a while because he didn't know what was going to happen. And so we just said, well, this sucks. So we went through the whole summer with nothing. And then we didn't know if we were going to be able to put this out. And then another label came to me and said, we want to do it. And so I went back in the studio and I finished up what I had to finish up, re-recorded some things, did a bunch of new tracks, and sure enough, we had it coming out again, and we started playing again within the last couple of months.
And how's that been going?
Great. I mean, we're doing awesome shows. We're playing this weekend, and we're doing a show up in Door County, Wisconsin, with Head East.
Oh, wow. So another legendary band.
Yeah. I mean, I used to do a lot of shows with Head East when Gary was around. We played with them a lot, and so this ought to be fun. And then we're going to another show in Illinois, and then we're going to be we're off for another week. Oh no, actually, I'm going to be going off to Los Angeles next week, and then after that, we're going to be going to Detroit. We're going to Ohio, We're doing some stuff on the East Coast, and then we're going to hopefully be able to come back and have some shows scheduled for Illinois, and then go down to Texas.
Oh wow! So you be playing LA next week, like just as the album's being released, huh?
I'm doing some radio stuff, and I'm doing some other things out there. I'm not actually performing live, but you never know what could happen.
Yeah. Well, that's really great.
I got some radio shows that I do some stuff on, and I'm actually going to do some in-station things out there. So. Oh,
that's fun. And so let me ask you, as far as the recording of this, like, were you you had Gary's guitar tracks obviously left behind, but that you were working with. But did any other band go in the studio with you, or how did that work?
What?
Did the rest of the band go in the studio? Like, were you guys in the same room together when you recorded this, or what was that process?
Oh yeah, we like I told you before, we actually we have the original demos that we did with Gary that I played with Gary back in the day, and then what we did is we went and we replayed the demos, and then we took his guitar tracks, lifted them off, and then the band played along with those guitar tracks.
Oh, so that is monster! Yeah. Wow.
Like I said, he was actually like right in the studio with us. So.
Oh, how cool is that? Well, I tell you, I'm looking forward to hearing the rest of the album when it comes out next week, and maybe as I get a chance to hear the entire album, we can do this again. But let's keep in touch, Michael. I really enjoyed getting to talk to you.
All right, that sounds good. I thank you very much for your time.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.